I want to tell you an amazing story. I went to be Menachem Avel this week, I think one of the big tzaddikim, McClellan, so the big Oisei, one of the biggest Oisei Chesed, Shavan Nechamim, and his wonderful family, by the Sharon family. And they told me the story about their mother that just passed away. Shavan Gan Eden. Despite their wealth, they lived like very, very simple people. And I can tell you that, B'chush, seeing them, Shabbosim for Yisoimim, and they're packing for them and preparing, physically doing the labor and working. But I want to skip that now. She was a very, very simple person, very ehrliche person. She learned how to speak Yiddish. She was an East Side girl, so she'd be able to hear out the Mishalachim and feel their pain. And the pashtus that was there, like the fact that they were rich didn't even enter their minds. They never went away anywhere. There was like just the children that raised a beautiful family, a moiker abanon, the close to a Shmuel Birnbaum, like anything to help Torah, to help. I didn't want to go there. And she never took anything for granted, not a single penny. So he told me when he first started his business, way back, he had nothing, and he had a partner. And he had some stamps, and he looked in the envelope and he found 12 cents. He asked, what's the 12 cents? So she told him she took 2 stamps. He said, but it's my stamps. She said, half belongs to your partner. Those days stamps were 6 cents. You can't just take stamps from a partnership. So she would go to the grocery and she would buy things herself. And when she would come back from the grocery, she would go over the bill to see if there was a mistake. Her biggest nightmare was that she owed somebody money. So she went to this grocery next to her house and she comes back. And I guess they bring the box over. And she doesn't see the receipt. That made her a little bit nervous. Where's the receipt? So she looks through the box and she sees a bar of chocolate. She doesn't remember putting in a bar of chocolate. So she tells her husband, what's this bar of chocolate doing here? He says, right now it's just sitting there. Don't worry, you won't for shame it. What if it fell in by mistake? I don't think the grocery man is going to lose sleep over it tonight. Not the point. What if I didn't pay for it and it's here? She's walking back on a hot day to return the chocolate. Why don't you call him up and tell him you have the bar of chocolate, okay? And let him put it on the bill. So she calls him up and says, there's a bar of chocolate in my box. On a busy Friday afternoon. Okay. Is it behaving? No, I want to know, did I order it or not? I want to make sure I paid for it. Mrs. Sharon, it's fine. No, I don't want my tamas. Fine, I'll look it up. And he looks up and he says, I don't see the order. I don't see the whole order. I was in your store. But how could it be? I don't see the whole order. So he says to her, can you tell me, when exactly were you in the store? So she says, 10:46. 10:46, I'll check the cameras. So she checks the cameras. The cashier, okay, they watch her she gives the cashier $100 to pay. The cashier takes the $100 and puts it looks like she's putting it into the cash register. But she's not. She's actually slipping it underneath the drawer of the cash register. Which if you weren't focused on it, you wouldn't chop. And then he sees her canceling the sale, so there's no record of it on the cash register. So he meets with his sons and say, we got to go over to her house, even though she maybe didn't live in the best neighborhood, but we have to show her, or else. So they went over to the house and said, look, we understand, a person has, but we can call the police, we can have you arrested. So we have to have a commitment from you, like we want the $100 back just for the sake of. And she said, no, don't call the police. I promise you, she said, I will give you back the entire $25,000 that I took over the years. Okay? So, in other words, think about this for a moment. So he said, it turned out that it wasn't only this cashier, it was other cashiers as well that were into this. He said he was mamash going to have to close his business. It just wasn't working. He sat with his accountant. They just couldn't figure out where money's disappearing. It didn't stim. But think about this. Isha Kashera says, the Eibishter gives me, and the Eibishter gives you, and I don't want to take yours. That's all. It doesn't mean there's how much I have, how much you have. There's nothing to do with it. I don't want to come up to Shemayim, and there's $1, there's a chocolate bar that you took that wasn't yours. I don't live for this world. And she winds up saving a person's business. Do you understand what it means if some people see malachim, some people see the Rabbeinu Shalom in every drop of their life, And some people see just the opposite. How can I kvetch you?
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.